The first time I noticed the drone was a quiet Sunday morning. I was sipping my coffee on the porch when a faint buzzing sound filled the air. Looking up, I saw a small black drone hovering above my backyard. At first, I assumed it belonged to some teenager testing out a new gadget. But when it returned the next day, hovering closer, almost watching me, I realized something wasn't right. It wasn't just me. The whole neighborhood began talking about the drone. The Martins across the street complained it followed them while they worked in their garden. Mrs. Reynolds said it hovered outside her second-floor window while she was on a video call. Everyone felt uneasy, but no one knew where it came from. Our neighborhood was part of a strict HOA, led by a woman named Karen Whitmore. She was notorious for her obsession with keeping order. Fined people for grass being too tall, for trash cans left out 5 minutes too long, even for having unapproved paint shades. So when we reported the drone to her, she promised to look into it immediately. Days passed, and the drone only got bolder. It flew lower, sometimes pausing over people's fences as if inspecting their property. One evening, I decided to record it. When I zoomed in, I noticed a small sticker on its underside, a white K written in red marker. That was when suspicion began to take root. I told my friend Marcus, who lived 2 houses down. He laughed at first, but then frowned when he realized Karen's initials matched the mark. Together, we decided to test our theory. We waited near Karen's house late one evening, pretending to take a walk. Right around 9 p.m., we heard the faint whir of propellers and saw a drone rise from behind her backyard fence. Marcus whispered, "No way! That's hers!" We followed it with our eyes as it floated toward my home, scanning over rooftops. I felt anger bubbling up. Karen, the same woman who lectured us about privacy and HOA rules, was spying on us like some neighborhood dictator. We decided not to confront her yet. Instead, we started gathering evidence. Over the next few nights, we took videos, timestamps, and even tracked the drone's flight paths using a mobile app. What began as a harmless annoyance was turning into a full-blown invasion of privacy. And as we dug deeper, we discovered that Karen's obsession with control ran far darker than we could have imagined. By the next week, nearly everyone in the neighborhood knew about the mysterious drone. But no one dared accuse Karen directly. She was the HOA president, and confronting her usually meant a flood of fines or harassment. Still, Marcus and I couldn't stay silent. We needed solid proof, something undeniable. So one night, Marcus brought his cousin Jake, a tech guy who worked in IT security. Jake had a drone tracker that could identify the signal source of nearby drones. We hid near Karen's backyard under the cover of darkness, waiting. Sure enough, at exactly 8:47 p.m., a drone lifted off from her property. Jake's tracker lit up instantly. "Got it," he whispered. "Signal origin. Right there." He pointed to Karen's back deck, where faint light glowed through the curtains. We followed the drone's route on a tablet screen. It flew over Mrs. Reynolds' house, dipped low near the Martins' pool, then hovered over my own backyard again. Jake saved every second of the signal data. But what shocked us most was what Jake found later that night. Using the drone's serial number, he traced it to an online registration under Whitmore K. That was Karen's official HOA email. The next day, we confronted her in the community meeting. The room was full, neighbors whispering about missing packages, strange noises, and now the drones. Karen, wearing her signature sun hat and smug grin, stood before us. "These ridiculous accusations are baseless," she declared. "I care about this community's safety." I showed the video. Marcus held up screenshots. Jake played the recorded flight data. The room fell silent. Karen's expression cracked for just a moment. Then her voice rose sharply. "You people are violating my privacy!" But the damage was done. The evidence was overwhelming. The board voted to suspend her HOA authority pending investigation. That night, we thought it was over. But around midnight, I woke to flashing lights outside my window. The drone was back. This time, it flew lower than ever, its camera pointed directly at my house. Karen wasn't giving up. She was retaliating. After that night, the situation spiraled out of control. Karen's drone surveillance became relentless. It hovered over driveways, backyards, even windows at odd hours. Neighbors were terrified. Children refused to play outside. We called the police several times, but without her being caught in the act, there wasn't much they could do. "You need clear footage of her operating it," the officer told me. Then we can press charges for harassment and unlawful surveillance. So Marcus and I set a trap. We positioned a hidden camera facing Karen's backyard, disguised inside a bird feeder. For 2 nights, nothing happened. But on the third, around 9:15 p.m., the drone lifted again, and there she was, standing in her garden, controller in hand. We had her. Karen's face was clearly visible, her focus intense as she piloted the drone toward my house. She zoomed it up to my second-floor window before returning it to her yard. The footage was crystal clear. We took it straight to the police station. Officer Daniels, the same cop who had brushed us off earlier, watched the clip in stunned silence. "Well," he said finally, "that's about as solid as it gets." 2 officers arrived at Karen's home the next day. Neighbors gathered outside, pretending to water their lawns or walk their dogs just to see what would happen. When the police knocked, Karen stepped out wearing her bathrobe, feigning confusion. "I have no idea what this is about," she shouted. But when the officers asked to see her backyard, she hesitated. One officer spotted the drone resting on a table. They confiscated it immediately. Karen tried to protest, claiming it was part of a neighborhood safety initiative, but no one believed her. When they found several SD cards labeled with house numbers, the truth came out. She'd been recording everyone. Hundreds of clips of private moments, all neatly cataloged. Karen was arrested on the spot. The neighborhood erupted in whispers and disbelief. The self-proclaimed guardian of HOA rules had been spying on us all. Karen's arrest became the biggest scandal our town had ever seen. Local news vans parked outside the subdivision for days. Headlines read, "HOA president charged with illegal surveillance." And neighborhood watch gone wrong. In the footage recovered from her drones, police found hours of recordings. Neighbors sunbathing, barbecuing, gardening, even through windows. It was horrifying. Her obsession with control had crossed into criminal territory. During her court hearing, Karen tried to justify her actions. "I was protecting the community," she claimed. "There have been thefts. Suspicious people." But the judge wasn't buying it. The prosecution presented our footage, flight data, and her own storage of labeled SD cards. The courtroom gasped when they saw how detailed her spying operation had been. Karen was sentenced to 1 year in county jail, fined heavily, and permanently banned from any HOA leadership role. After her arrest, the neighborhood began to heal. The constant fear of being watched faded. Marcus organized a small block party, the first in years. People laughed again, shared stories, and for once, we felt like a community instead of a surveillance zone. I stood on my porch that evening watching kids chase each other down the street. It felt peaceful. Then Marcus walked over, holding his phone. "Hey, check this out," he said with a grin. He played a clip, a short video of me and him setting up the bird feeder camera. "Just for memories," he joked. We both laughed, but deep down, I realized something. Once your privacy is invaded, you never quite look at your surroundings the same way again. Karen's drones might be gone, but her shadow lingered in the back of our minds, a reminder of how power, when left unchecked, can twist even ordinary people into something dangerous. And as the sun set behind our quiet neighborhood, I couldn't help but glance at the sky, half expecting to hear that familiar buzz again. But this time there was only silence.